Snowflake generation, how to work effectively with those under 30. We explore how to successfully interact with the Snowflake generation, hiring and managing people under 30 who place a special emphasis on personal boundaries and psychological comfort. The conflict between fathers and children, seniors and juniors, boomers and zoomers is an eternal theme. People who are currently 40, 30, and 20 often have fundamentally different attitudes to work, communication, and handling challenges. Society is changing rapidly and profoundly. In the mid-20th century, people grumbled about back in our day, but there wasn't such a global gap with previous generations. Let's break down who snowflakes really are and how to interact with them. What the generation is all about. The snowflake generation refers to those born after 1990. Why the name? These individuals are seen as fragile, sensitive, prone to taking offense, and focused on their own uniqueness. It's wrong to label all millennials or Generation Z as snowflakes. These traits simply appear more frequently in this age group. The year 1990 is often cited as a starting point, but it might make sense to shift it to the 2000s. After all, those born at the end of the Cold War spent their childhoods playing outside, not online. That meant scraped knees and bloody noses, real-world conflicts instead of chat room drama. The term snowflake is sometimes used derogatorily, like spoiled brat or rookie. In this article, we're not trying to offend anyone. We're using the word solely to describe a category of people, just like everyone else. And no, this clarification isn't hidden sarcasm or gaslighting. How to spot snowflakes. Here are the main characteristics of the snowflake generation. Sensitivity. They take criticism poorly, often seeing it as a personal attack. This is frequently the result of inflated self-esteem. They're also emotionally vulnerable. It's easy to hurt a snowflake's feelings, and they may struggle to control their emotions. Openness to the new is in their blood, so they never view their current job as something for the long haul. They value non-material motivation. They're guided less by income level and more by a subjective "it excites me, it doesn't." They prioritize mental health. They boldly defend personal boundaries and sometimes perceive toxicity or abuse where none exists. They seek comfort, not just in working conditions, but also in the absence of conflict and stressful situations. They love to highlight their individuality, often through appearance or unusual hobbies. Oversharing, the urge to tell everyone way too much about themselves, is also typical. To the question, "How's it going?" they might launch into a detailed story about yesterday's doctor visit, procedures, and prescription shopping. Why they're like this. Overprotective parenting. Most likely, parents who survived the shaky and dangerous 1990s wanted to shield their kids from hardship. If they also emphasized the child's uniqueness and always being right, the growing snowflake entered school viewing it as a hostile, dangerous world where people might disagree or even call you an idiot. Related. What's wrong with the midlife crisis? Social media as a guiding force. Snowflakes get both social strokes, likes, and a whip for self-flagellation when they see others' glamorous lives. The feed creates a cascade of emotions, from inflated expectations of others and self-dissatisfaction to rejecting anything unaesthetic. Let's be blunt, digital world struggles aren't like problems on a construction site, factory, or warehouse. If you urgently need to pour a large foundation, but the first concrete mixer doesn't arrive until 5 p.m., you'll spend the entire evening on site. Colleagues, I'm not in the headspace. I'll get back to the task tomorrow. Just doesn't fly here. The digital world is complex in its own way, but generally more forgiving of slip-ups, task reshuffling, and deadline shifts. Processes, results, and challenges are often virtual. You can't touch them. They won't hit your foot or get you dirty. How to be an attractive employer for snowflakes. The following tips are based on Megaplan's experience. Conduct interviews gently, no stress tests or harsh criticism. If a candidate did well on a test but not perfect, first highlight what worked, then discuss the shortcomings. In our culture, unfortunately, people often point out the negatives, assuming everything else is fine. Say it outright. Snowflakes need to hear it. Offer flexible schedules and remote work. Millennials value comfort and work-life balance. All else equal, they'll choose the work-from-home option. Provide company-funded training. Not just office books, but the ability to purchase courses or workshops on varying terms depending on the role. Factor in Snowflake expectations and motivation. Yoga classes or therapy sessions might appeal more than voluntary health insurance. That said, VHI, especially with dental, still performs well. How to work with snowflakes. Avoid stereotypes and bias. Don't call them snowflakes to their face or say things like, "Oh, now I get it, you're a Zoomer," or "TikTok generation, what do you expect?" A person's values, experience, character, and tastes aren't defined solely by age. When possible, assign diverse tasks to younger and older colleagues without pigeonholing. You've got that clip thinking, here's something simple and quick, and you, Semyon Semyonovich, you're a pro at analyzing ciabatta runs on Yandex. Here's a fascinating 2-week puzzle. Related, 5 fatal mistakes in managing millennials. Communicate openly, over coffee, or in stand-ups. Create a friendly atmosphere. It matters for all ages. Encourage snowflakes to speak up. Give them feedback that's tactful but direct and honest. They appreciate regular, specific input. Evaluate actions and results. Don't give a snowflake a reason to think, my design wasn't liked, so I'm talentless. Whenever possible, frame tasks with objective metrics, not subjective taste. Respect personal boundaries. It's possible at work too. Set realistic deadlines, don't demand, suggest. Taking work at home, avoid manipulation, don't force your company or opinions, and accept a no. Learn from each other. In a large multi-generational team, think about what older and younger employees can share. It could be classic mentoring or informal evenings like TED Talks or stand-up. Colleagues of all ages can exchange experience. 10 things I wish I'd known at 25, and fresh approaches, how to communicate on social media so it's a hit, not a cringe. Foster the mindset age only tells you age. Gray hair doesn't guarantee wisdom, empathy, or strong character. Youth doesn't mean incompetence, inexperience, or recklessness. Show that how you treat someone isn't determined by the numbers in their passport. Account for communication differences. Even adjacent generations interpret emojis differently. What to say about preferred formats. Snowflakes usually favor chats and voice messages on social platforms. Zoom, fine, whatever. Email, sketchy, but okay. In-person meeting, why bother? Older colleagues might feel the exact opposite, and that's normal. Recognize achievements. It's basic, but snowflakes love having their wins acknowledged, not because you're the baby of the team, but for objective successes. Be reasonably demanding, yet fair and kind, then they'll melt. Figuratively, of course.